So I don't know if that was it either. No, you know what? I was gonna ask.
Come on.
This is when I pulled a card like, you're gonna wait for a lot of this. That guy. Yes, it was not prepared this morning when I got to work. It was like.
He does.
Sorry. Happy birthday, though. Ashley said she's gonna dance with it.
You don't want that. It's just, you know, you're like a hot mess.
I don't think your husband would be very happy.
I didn't say anything.
Even,
I didn't. She didn't have me naked. I didn't say it was either.
chicken dance is a mess, okay?
All right. I think I've got any glasses. I'll make her call me in order. Pledge allegiance. Ready? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Here. Here.
Here.
Here.
Here.
Here.
Here.
Power. Do I change the batteries in this before we continue on? I can't unless.
Well, I mean, I can.
Small time out. Oh, that's not good. Let's try left. Public comments. Public comments are limited to 2 minutes per person. Anybody with public comments? State your name, please.
Thank you, Chandler and Melissa. 2 minutes each, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we're just doing our normal yearly check-in with our favorite people.
Minute 45.
Okay. It was, I had this all. So.
Make sure you throw them all.
So it's just our normal, usual yearly check-in with all of you. So we're just gonna do a quick little, oh my gosh, who we are, recap of 2025, our cost to operate, how we're doing, what's next, and Windmill Days 2026. So some are new to the board, so we just wanted to give a quick recap of who we are. Windmill Days was established following the retirement of Junebug Days. And we're carrying forward the tradition, the Baldwin tradition of celebrating our community. Windmill Days is unique to Baldwin in many ways, one being particular that we're an all-volunteer organization. And we're just united by a shared commitment to our community and our residents. Windmill Day's purpose is to give back through our scholarships and financial support to local clubs and organizations and community initiatives. We promote Baldwin We foster a connection of inclusion, and we do that through offering our free events and in making sure that people of all ages and demographics and economic backgrounds can participate. We invest in Baldwin's future. We continually work toward improvements that benefit our entire community, and then we're really working on building strong partnerships with local organizations and businesses to strengthen and collaborate and have a good, strong community impact. So in general, we're just all about strengthening our community ties, supporting local growth, and ensuring Baldwin continues to be a place that we're proud to call home. So a recap of 2025. 2025 was a glowing celebration of community and remarkable success. Some of the things that we like to mention is Family Night has continued to grow, bringing neighbors together, and our fireworks obviously are magnificent. People enjoy them immensely. Our free activities promotes community engagement, inclusiveness for all ages and backgrounds. We had new events which brought out more residents, visitors, and it broadened our participation. We partnered with new and existing businesses within our community, and we also had outreach from businesses outside our community that reached out to us that wanted to participate in our event. We received national recognition this year through Senex for our hometown throwdown. Our marketing efforts have been expanded greatly, promoting Baldwin and Windmill Days more broadly. And of course, we gave back to local clubs, organizations, and we reinforced our commitment to supporting the community that supports us. The financials. So hosting a successful and far-reaching celebration isn't just about vision, it requires real investment because impact, scale, and experience, they all come at a cost. I would say that also overall our committee is very frugal with our funds. Maybe it's the Dutch in us, I don't know. But so we just wanted to give you a cost, and I know that you have requested our financials for the last 5 years, which we will be presenting to you and giving to the board for review. Overall, we like to keep our administrative expenses very low. We do that, that's usually our insurance and things like that, our post office box. Our marketing expenses have gone up, but we have expanded our marketing to draw in more people. Operations, that's a big cost. That's our tent, that's our porta potty, that's our water, hand washing, that's all of those things. And then of course our events is our biggest expense. With the help of the village and then also with our sponsors, we do recoup some of that, but some of it is just we use our profits from year to year to keep providing these events, to keep providing free events. And of course, none of our members make any money. So overall, it costs us about, for a 3-4 day event, $50,000 to run. I can't remember you speaking on.
We already talked about the nationwide because I'm social media and I love numbers. I'm not going to rattle them all off. Facebook from this post alone gained 38,771 views. Overall, on our way, you can go back past that. So overall, you can see that we've had 651 views. I'm not going to go through all that information because I want to save time for other stuff.
And we'll get a copy of all the numbers so that you guys can look at all of this.
Yeah. And so these numbers are run from January 1 to today.
It's very touchy.
Yeah. We have 2.9 thousand followers, 2.2 likes. We share multiple other community events. We created a other community 4th of July fireworks display. That one got 24,457 views. National Night Out, just over 4,000. So we're expanding our reach. We're trying to go get those people that maybe aren't on social media through newsletters and stuff. So why? Because we want that to deliver right to their inbox. Like I said, not everyone's on social media. Promotes community events all in one place. So we started this in July. Didn't get it posted in September. We did share Chili Fest because of my father's passing in October. It just got posted today. But from September of 541 views to August at over 3,000 views, we think the first 3 newsletters are doing pretty great. Website, we have a constant engagement of 97% rating. In the last 12 months, we've had over 20,000 views. And our goal is just to make everything inclusive for everyone, as she indicated. And then the next one, you can see where we're at. These are people that follow us, mention us, and so I'm only going to talk a little bit about each. That Tacky Tourist is a TikTok person who has 11.2 followers. She shared our Senex event, so that was another way to get our name out there. Wisconsin festivals, they list thousands of events in every state in the United States. In the past 3 years, in June, they've tagged Windmill Days as one of the festivals. You can see as we get to the numbers, there's other local events that weekend, such as the Ellsworth Tractor Pull, Durand, Rice Lake, and Somerset. They're not recognized. And so if you go to their website, they list 30 festivals for that same weekend in June, and we're the only one in Wisconsin listed. So I thought that was pretty cool too. Yeah, back to you.
So if you remember last time that we were here, we purchased Placer Reports, and what they do is they track cell phone usage within the area, so they tell you how many people have come to your event, at what time frame, and the area that you've done it. So we feel like this is a great thing for us to invest into, to see where we're succeeding, where we're falling short. We thought of comparing ourselves to other town events, but they probably have a different marketing outreach and a different marketing plan than we do. So we included Chili Fest this year because they're probably the next biggest festival in Baldwin. So here we'll show that for 2003, 2004, and 2005, the number of visits that Windmill Days had and the number of visitors. So visitors are the actual people that attended our event. And the visitors means that they might have come back. Huh?
Visits mean,
Oh, no.
visitors is how many one person has come.
Yeah.
Visits is
They might have come back
home.
more than once. So they could have gone home, came back later in the day. So that's why the visits is much higher than the others. And then it also, there's data in there, and we'd be happy to talk more about this if you want us to come back on another night. But it also shows us like how long people stayed at our event, which most of the time was 2.5+ hours that they were at our event. This just shows it by day. Thursday night is family night and continues to grow. We'd like to see that higher. And I think the thing that should be noted here is family night is really like kid driven. You know, a lot of our festival is free events. I mean, if you ever had to wait and see the line for the bouncy houses. And those numbers definitely aren't represented in there. So if you consider it's 1.7 for this year, it's a greater amount considering all the kids that we bring in on Thursday and at the festival itself. So demographically, we've been consistent over the last 3 years. And we have a lot of visitors that travel for over 50 miles to get here for our festival. Such as White Bear Lake, Eau Claire, Bloomer, Chisago, Menominee. These are really small, and I apologize, but I couldn't get the whole map without it being tiny, tiny. So while we do pull a majority from the Baldwin-Woodville surrounding area, we have really expanded out into different areas. And then this just shows Chili Fest numbers and maps. So what's next for Windmill Days? In 2026, we look forward to having more events that bring people together, connect, and share unique memories and traditions. We are opening doors so that visitors want to come here and be engaged with us. And we're joining new partnerships to bring new things to our community. So 2026 is already on the move. Kidding? And so we are busy planning for that. We have a lot going on, a lot of things that we think are going to bring more people, a different demographic, and continue to grow. And hopefully our numbers next year that we come back will be even greater than this year. But overall, we just want to say thank you. Thanks for always supporting us and being the foundation for us and our support and encouraging and being great partners. But without you guys, we couldn't do it. Without our community, we couldn't do it. So thank you.
Thank you. Any more public comments? All right, move on to tab And Sean, I suppose, too.
I am.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Oh,
I know we're, yeah. Oh. Shut down.
Yeah, just give me, let me get this going.
I wouldn't. That's good.
Don't get too full.
Okay, here we go.
Great, thank you, Mark.
Hi, Sean.
Lance, how you doing?
Good.
To see you. We wanted to go through, to start with, what we're seeing in the financial situation for the water utility. So this issue had come up with recent activities that the village has been involved with. We kind of review these things on an annual basis. And maybe to just start out with the goal of the, generally speaking, of each of the individual funds that the village has. So your general fund, your sewer fund, your water fund, the individual tax increment districts, EMS, all those funds, you're trying and you're attempting to run those so that they individually can cover their own costs. So for the sewer utility, you're setting rates and charges at a level to ensure that they can pay the capital and operating costs of the sewer utility. Water utility, same thing. General fund, same thing. And what you see on the screen right now is for 23 and 24, those are numbers from your audited financial statements. And then 25 is budgeted at the beginning of the year and then projected based on kind of how things have progressed throughout this calendar year. And what we're looking at is the revenues that the water utility is generating each year, less the expenses. Looking at your operating income, which you can see has been running in the red, in a deficit. And then on top of that, we've got to have money available to pay the debt service that the water utility is responsible for. The debt payments are not shown on this is the income statement for the water utility, and we don't show debt payments on there. So when you calculate at the bottom there in blue, what amount is available to pay debt after you've paid all the operating expenses of the water utility. And that number in blue at the bottom is inclusive of cash flow created by depreciation. So you don't, depreciation is a book expense. If you actually were putting money in the bank, the blue number you're seeing at the bottom of 2024 of 24,000, if you were to look at that number without adding depreciation back in, it would be well in the negative, much more significantly. But that's not uncommon. Most are set up, most utilities are set up that depreciation isn't fully being funded and set aside for future expenses. That's not unusual. Then as you get into 25, you can also see that the problem isn't necessarily getting better, it's getting exacerbated. So meaning that the cash flow of the utility is not generating, after paying operating costs, sufficient revenues to cover debt. And in fact, we're projecting out through 2025 that you would be nothing. You'd have to be using other funds of the water utility. One other point, at the end of 2024, the water utility had about $360,000 in cash, so that's in savings. So that's a good thing, that there is dollars available there. Okay. I know Mark just stepped up. We can go down to the next slide, Lance, if you wouldn't mind taking over.
Am I doing it here?
You are,
Yeah,
yep.
you are.
Yep.
He's out of a job.
Yeah, you got it covered. Okay, so from the previous slide, remember I had mentioned when we were looking at 2024 numbers out of the village's audit, after paying all the water utilities operating expenses, cash flow remaining to pay debt was $24,000. Now, when it comes to debt, the village currently has two types of debt that the water utility is expected to pay. Most importantly, you have a water revenue issue outstanding, originally in the amount of $640,000. The annual payments on that are about $34,000. Now, that is owned by the state of Wisconsin. They lent us the money for water utility projects. When we did that debt issue with them, we made a commitment that we would have rates and charges of the water utility that would cover that payment plus an extra 10% above. Okay, where that would show itself on the spreadsheet is in revenue debt coverage, and you can see it's 0.7. We need that to be at least at 1, and it really should be at 1.1. Okay, so we're not achieving that goal, and the way the process works is the state gives you some time to correct that issue. Okay? Then secondarily, there's a couple issues that are backed by the full faith and credit of the village, so your general obligation pledge. But based on the types of projects that they're financing, our intention is to use the water revenues ultimately to pay it, because the projects were for water utility projects. So you see those three loans there. On the far right is the one that's GO Prom note, $5,890,000. That's the note we did recently. Remember, there's a water portion of that. The biggest chunk, I think, of that was the meters that were included in that. So the total debt service, the revenue and the general obligation together, is the second column from the right. And you'll see that over the next couple of years, that's going to build up to about $200,000 a year. But remember, we got about $24,000 based on 2024 that's available to make that payment, and that debt coverage then is that 0.12 projection. So what does all that mean? What that means is the annual revenues of the water utility based on current operations are not generating enough to cover their share of their debt obligations. They're covering about break even on the operating costs, but not there to pay the debt obligations. So what's going to happen this year and next year is you're going to be tapping into your cash, the water utility's cash, to make those payments. And then that cash balance will get depleted. So we're in a position where you really have to look at the water rates, the revenues. So what can generate more revenues for the water utility? Adjustments to the rates, new users, other funding sources for the water utility are all possibilities. But the biggest one is likely going to be the rates of the water utility. Okay? Any questions on that before we go through the next couple of slides? Okay. Kim, I don't know if you have anything to add on that?
That was
Okay.
perfect. That was
All right.
perfect.
So, as you guys are probably aware, in order to do an increase in the water rate, it's not really the board that has full discretion there. The Public Service Commission is in charge. And so what we're showing here is just a couple things about their process. They regulate it. The rate case, full rate case, is not an overnight process. It's somewhere in the 9 to 12 months, oftentimes, to go through that whole process. And when they set the rates, they don't set them in a fashion that is simply break even. So they don't say, okay, here's your operating costs, here's your debt costs. We want the revenue of the utility to be just enough to cover those. They more look at it like a business, and so there should be a quote-unquote rate of return on your assets, and that their benchmark at that is about a 6% rate of return on the assets. It's not extreme by any means, but it's also not zero, so they're not setting rates at a break-even level. Right now, with 2024, the number in red, we're way below that benchmark of 6%. We're at about a 10% loss. And now you guys have already done some steps to try to mitigate that with the 3% short simplified rate case adjustments. But the full rate case, the simplified I should say is a 3% increase on the revenues. The last time the village did a full rate case is 2016. So basically when we get into 2026, about 10 years. Okay? And the stuff on the bottom is just more kind of the methodology that the PSC uses when looking at rates. Okay. Mark, can we go to the next slide? We put this in here just to give you a sense of where you are from a residential commercial user compared to water utilities all around the state. This is your class of somewhere between 1,000 to 4,000 customers, and you're number 29 on the list for the lowest quarterly billing. So it's just kind of comparing you to users all over the state, and so your rate about that 43.58 using someone using 6,000 gallons, a family using 6,000 gallons. And you can see the rates across the state range up to, in some cases, up to $120 a quarter. Okay, so you're more in the lower quarter of water utilities around the state currently. And if you go to the next one, this one is more looking at it for commercial users. And for commercial user using about 75,000 gallons on a quarterly basis, just under $297. So in that case, you're about 53rd for the lowest quarterly bill. Okay? Just to kind of give you a sense of where you sit currently before you would take any action for adjustments to the rates. Okay, Mark, you can go to the next one. So, looking at your water rate case and going through a process is something that, if you'd like, we can assist you with. There's others that do this as well. We do a lot of these. We did over 100 utility rate starts, 72 conventional rate applications in the last 5 years with the PSC. Our approach is a phased approach, and we try to look at it big picture, not just a single event let's deal with right now, but also kind of where you're going into the future. And we like to do it on a phased basis. With phase one is really looking at where you are at now. We already did a little bit of that just to kind of address the problem, which I think we've already had discussions with staff about this. And then also, depending on your capital improvement plan and other things you might have going, what are we looking like going in the future? And so we need assistance with staff and engineers about what that's looking like going forward. And then after viewing that as a board and getting your sign up, then you start going into the actual PSC application process. So there's information requests, doing the background work that's necessary, providing the package is phase 3, working with the village on the case, working with the Public Service Commission to explore all options, the rate of, discussions about the rate of return and some of the other things we've been talking about earlier. And then ultimately the final report is, here's what the PSC has decided through the whole process, and then it comes back, there's a public hearing, and it comes back to the board for a final decision. Okay. Mark, if you go to the next slide. Next slide, just cost-wise, going through the entire process, and each of these phases are approved by the board. So the way we typically do it, if we were to be working with you on this, is we first get a sign-off for phase 1. We're good with that. Once it's been completed, the village is good with them, 2, 3, and 4. But again, our idea is that let's just not make this a single point in time, but do the long-term projection, take that into account before we go forward with any of the other phases. Okay. And I think we might have one more. Oh, just a final slide there. So, wanted to just kind of give an overview, because I don't know if we've had a chance to really dig into this in our discussion on some other things recently for the full board. Address what the issue is and what we're looking at, and then depending on where the board wants to go with it, how that process would likely move forward. I think that the the issue over the next couple of years is probably gonna get more of a problem, unless we really get significant growth, bringing in significant new users. So it's probably, we have a little time to be dealing with it. As we talked about, your cash balance is still in a reasonably good spot, but it doesn't take long when you're running at a deficit every year. It's like a family budget. If you're running at a deficit, your savings get depleted very quickly. And that spirals then because problems in the water utility, if the water utility can't manage it, becomes problems for the other funds in the village as it goes over time. Okay?
Like what happened in 2016.
Correct. Yes. Yep.
We were
That led to the
35% raise and ended up being over 50%.
Right. So if there's any questions, happy to answer them, but otherwise we, for information purposes, just want to take the board through the whole process and the current situation.
Cool. More people complain about their water and sewer bills.
Yeah.
I understand it. I mean,
Yep.
I get it. I mean, the water towers and the meters.
Yeah, some
Kind
big
of forced our
infrastructure.
hand by the DNR. I mean, we really don't have a choice in it. That's what the general public doesn't kind of see or understand either, that our hand has been forced and we have to do it. So, yeah, I suppose we better roll the process. What, 24 we had at 3%?
24 and 25.
25,
So-
we only had 3%, I think.
Yep.
PSC said 5%, but we stuck with 3. Wasn't that correct?
Was it up to, I'm sorry, Kim, you probably weren't there. Up to 5?
Up to 5, yeah. Are we forced to go on what they say, or we just can't go above what they say? I don't like people telling me what they say.
Well, because we didn't do what they told us to do, that's why it was delayed until October 1st now.
It hasn't even hit yet, has it?
You're starting to.
Awesome. Okay.
I haven't left, am I on the next agenda item too, Lance? Or do we have something about the TID that I was gonna give you a quick update on?
You're down a little bit.
It is, okay, all right, I wasn't sure if
You
this
need to
was.
get out of here?
No, I can wait, it's not a problem.
Because after that, I want to talk to you, the conversation we had.
Yes, yep.
Did you give him a report on that for a closed session, or no?
Kim and I talked about the issue earlier today. We were
Okay,
gonna meet together.
so
Yep.
we'll have information from you when we go into closed session. You don't need to be there then.
No, I need to talk with you about it.
Oh, so you're staying for closed session then too?
I can do that.
10-4,
Yep.
that's all that matters. Okay. Thanks, Sean.
You bet.
6, consent agenda, A through C, A through E. Do we want anything pulled?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion second. Questions, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7A, Police Department Building Renovation Project, project update. Hi, Paige.
Hello. All right, Mark, I don't know if you're gonna share the,
Yeah,
Otherwise I
I'm
can
trying
just
to
read
get
it
out of
out
this
too, it's
screen
fine.
here and- There we go. Okay, we'll get there, yes.
Seven.
A1. There
all
you go.
right, awesome. Well, thank you for having us tonight. Little board update on the police and DNR project. So we did officially start construction on September 22nd. So it hasn't been very long, but there's actually been kind of a lot of action out there. Just a little schedule update. So we are expecting substantial completion for the police garage building end of December. Some exterior envelope work is going to be done kind of mid-November probably. And then really all of the other phases are going to be kind of November through January. So we should be shooting for everything being substantially complete about January 18th. Currently what's going on out there, the police garage foundation walls, so that new police garage, all those foundation walls and footings have been poured. The interior demolition has begun, and it's actually pretty much almost all complete now. And they have created that partition wall between what is now going to be the new police side and then the DNR side that's in the back. And then the parking lot addition, the additional parking area, the excavation has occurred, filling has occurred, and it's ready for the new asphalt. There is one change order that we're working on. We're working with Mark on that. It's just got a couple of items on it, nothing major, but we're gonna bring those, I think, to the board in November, so we'll have more information for you at that time, at that board update. From a next step standpoint, the police garage backfilling is all gonna be happening here in the next month. And by the end of the month, the exterior walls should be going up, so that's gonna be something exciting to look for. As far as the interior renovation, that warden's office and evidence space for the DNR was like the new area of construction that they have on the DNR side. That should be wrapping up here soon, and then they'll be able to move the DNR from their existing side of the building into that new side fully, and then start the demo work on the what will be the police side. So then all of that side work can start happening. And then the DNR garage, that standalone building, we're working on finalizing the shop drawings for that, and working with Berghammer to get all the information that we need. Excavation and installation of footings and foundations should be happening at the end of the month as well. And then as long as the weather holds out here, we are hoping to get the first lift of asphalt on the garage addition too. So hoping that works out here for this month. Otherwise, if we do get some crazy weather, it'll probably be in the spring. And that's really where we are right now. So we'll continue doing these updates every month, and if we want to add pictures to the presentation, if people are interested in seeing pictures, I mean, it's close by, so I'm sure all you drive by all the time, but if you want, we can add some pictures to the presentations.
Any questions for Paige? Thanks.
All right, thank you.
So we review and approve pay request one for Berghammer Builders. $104,540.
Motion to approve pay request number 1.
Second.
Motion second. Questions, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? B, review and approve pay request for 9th Street project of $342,413.03 for Albrights and excavating. Mitch?
Sure. Yeah, nothing of concern on pay request, was it 3? No, 4 this time. I guess the only thing I'll note is in pay request 4, during that pay period, we had the change order to switch out from breaker run to select crush that was previously approved. Other than that, nothing concerning our end. We recommend payment.
Move to approve.
Motion, 2 seconds. Questions, comments? All in favor say aye. Opposed? C, agreement for engineering services for the 2026 street project, Ayers.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve Ayers to do the 2026 street project. Questions, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thanks, Mitch.
Yeah, that was easy, I guess. We'll
We'll hit you up in a little bit.
We'll get survey started on that brought it this month so we can get it before weather starts changing and whatnot. And then after we get wrapped up with this year's project, we'll get moving on design, working with Graham.
Sounds good. D, review and approve agreement for managed IT services. Mark?
So the village received 3 proposals from providers that provide managed IT services. The 3 providers, and there was a committee, myself, Police Chief Kevin, EMS Director Tom, and EMS Field Supervisor John. So we met with 2 of the 3 companies. The 3rd company I met with, but no one else was available. And then the committee also reviewed all of the proposals, which is pretty more important. So the 3 proposals that we brought forward were Metro Sales, which is Metro Copiers, from the Twin Cities. I won't go through every bullet point here. Their proposed rate would have been $7,168.64. StarTech from Baldwin, which is just under $5,000, and Cooley Tech, which is in La Crosse, but they also have an office personnel in Montclair. So anyway, Cooley Tech, I think after reviewing all the committees, and John, I don't know if you have any other comment on any of this, but consensus was Cooley Tech was.
Yeah, Cooley Tech did provide us a list of the, companies that they did do business with and stuff like that, so, yeah, it was easy to kind of background them and to vet them on there, but it seems like more or less what we are looking for as an MSP managed service provider for the village and what the issues we've been having with, they offer more of a guarantee that that mitigation will take place, and that we're not gonna be back here in another year saying, guess what? Part 2 is happening with Groundhog's Day, right? So.
They seem to be more thorough. Another thing we liked about them a lot was they run month to month, so we don't have like a multi-year contract. So the committee recommendation would be to go with Cooley Tech.
How's that compared to today's rate?
What's that?
How's that compared to our current rate?
Our current rate is somewhere in the low 5,000s, so it's pretty similar. Yeah. Cooley Tech also said they wouldn't charge us to hook up new equipment too, which is something we pay now for, and I think they want to.
We want to pay extra for it.
Wouldn't have to pay extra, correct. It'd be part of the managed IT. Right.
I can set up my iPad though. Perfect. Do we have a motion? You want to make a motion?
I'll make a
All right, let's
motion
make a motion.
to approve Cooley Tech
For the IT services?
for the IT services, I was getting to that.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Questions, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Cooley Tech it is. When do they start? Do we have the
End of November, or December 1st.
December 1st?
Yep.
Nothing back from Winton? They were,
No, I haven't heard anything from them.
you serious?
Really?
Yep.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Interesting. Okay. All right. 7E, review and approve full water rate study.
So there's two proposals, one from Ellers and one from CLA. Kim, do you want to talk about which one you think, or if we talk, your thoughts on this?
All right, good evening, good to see everybody. I'm in a position where I can't lose because Ellers is great to work with and CLA is great to work with. We've got a bid from both of them. They are different. So you guys are gonna have to make the decision, and you don't have to make the decision tonight. Sean's already explained their phase process, and that it would take, I'm gonna say 9 months maybe, to a year. CLA told us the same thing, but they didn't say it would be quite that long. They thought we could have it done by third quarter 2026. It all depends on the volume of work that the PSC has. So, CLA has the advantage of familiarity with our audited statements. They're gonna have all the information needed to roll into the rate study. And they already do our annual PSC report, so that's all I can say. Maybe just something to think about, that we don't have to decide tonight.
Does CLA have a cost proposal to it?
Yeah, that,
9,500.
Mark's looking for it. I think it was in, yeah.
Plus expenses, plus technology, plus client support fees.
That's the plus on that.
Yes.
So it's 9%.
Motion approved, Ehlers.
Because we can't begin until, what we learned was you wanna wait till the end of this year, the books are closed and the audits happen. There's a timing thing too with the PSC where they look at July to June. And that's when we would start it maybe in April. Yeah. So you have time.
I made a motion.
Keeping your motion?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my motion for
Second.
others. We have a motion and a second. The only reason I'm doing this is because in my 10+ years here, we've gone through some auditors, didn't like them, got rid of them. I don't know, Sean's been around here forever, and everybody loved him. And I know it's his company, or it's not his company, but I think it's just gonna be easier, and with all the add-on fees, it looks like it's pretty cut and dry with what Ayler's put on here for everything. 17,500. We're at 9,500, and then Austin just added this fee, this fee, this fee, this fee.
There's a whole paragraph in what's.
So it's a little more clear cut, so that's why I'm making a motion. Any more questions or comments?
On the Ayler's, there is a paragraph in here for any services. Do you think it's gonna be any more, Sean? There's a paragraph below that says kind of the same thing as CLA, I mean.
We rarely have to use that provision, if ever.
Any more questions, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Sean, yeah.
now we'll go back with Sean again. Yeah, Cammy Apartment Development, TID 8 schedule, Sean Lance.
Oops.
You're gonna have to get a rental apartment here.
Oh, that's-
Cammy here, sooner or later, keep doing this.
That's why you're putting it together.
You're a lot lately.
Yeah, this should be a quick update. We had a real good discussion with Cammy a week ago, I think was the last time we were all on the phone together. Yeah, and then we laid out, I don't have all the exact dates, but what it boils down to is after looking at the proposal that they provided us, we think, as the board will recall, we have to take the existing TID 7 and we've got to take some parcels out of there in order to create the new TID. And so as we looked at that, what seems to make the most sense is everything in TID 7 that is on the southwest side of where 94 and 63 come together, we're going to take out of TID number 7. That will have some negative impact on the cash flow of TID 7, but not enough to cause it any sort of problem. Just still be paying all the costs back of TID 7. The new TID then will be comprised of the undeveloped parcels that never got developed over in that quadrant, plus some additional property as well that is in that area and is undeveloped. So those two things would be going on at the same time because the subtraction has to occur before the approval of the new TID. And the plan would be, October would be the month to get the plan and work with the developers together to get the final numbers that will go in the plan. November would be the month that we have the Plan Commission public hearing on the proposed creation of the new district as well as the subtraction property from the old district. And then at your December meeting, the board would approve both at that time. So there'd be a resolution for the Plan Commission on those two actions, closing and creating the new in November, actions for the village board in December, and the TID itself would be created by the end of December. What that does is then it clears the way for the actual project to get going in '26. And I would envision, this process is started too, I would envision that the development agreement will also be working on the same timeline, but probably January, I would guess. There may be some other issues that are non-financial related with the development agreement. Paul can talk about these kind of things too. But that would happen probably soon thereafter that the new TID is created. So that's the process. We have not, the other thing I know I talked with you a little bit about is the negotiations with the developer about what is the final ask that they have, and what do we recommend is a reasonable amount for the project to be successful and to give a reasonable rate of return on the project. That also will be moving on the same timeline, and there'll be more to come on that. They've started to provide us some of the preliminary discussion and background on that, but we still need some more info on that before we can make a final recommendation to the board. Any other specific questions? Or Mark, I don't know if you had anything to add. I thought, again, the call with them went very well.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah, there's a possibility we can give them money, right?
Yeah.
Of course, it's always gonna go well.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, thanks, Sean.
Yep, thank you.
All right. Any questions for Sean on that one? G, no, yes. I don't want to skip over G. Baldwin Historic Preservation Commission, the history room inventory. Layla.
Did everybody get the documents? Okay.
Yes.
So essentially, I've had some conversations over email with Mark about after the Historical Society dissolved and we became a committee with the village. It was an oversight that I didn't ask that the village also take ownership of the historic items. So they're just kind of floating around with the cyber squirrels somewhere. So I guess the first request is that the village takes ownership of the inventory of historic items for the village of Baldwin. The document that I sent was 23 pages. We had gone through and weeded things out that were redundant or unnecessary. Because it had been, the last time I did an inventory was 45 pages. And in the document, I don't know if you noticed or not, because it's the history room, it included the catalog items that actually belong to the library. So it would be less the first 9 pages. That's request number 1, that the village take ownership.
Paul, we didn't make a motion for that. No. Well, I make a motion, we take it over. I mean, we should be responsible to that, or at least the village, future village boards should be, or the village should be responsible for that stuff.
So is there committee in charge of that, or?
Yeah, I mean, the committee maintains it, keeps up with it, is responsible for making sure nothing is unnecessary or a duplicate item or a damaged item. If a new item comes in, then it would be accepted or not accepted.
So they're just looking for a space?
Somebody to be the official owner, because otherwise.
Does this put any more work on Mark or Jody? No?
I don't
Slightly.
think so.
I'm just.
Remember the fire safe that I requested 6 years ago?
Insurance.
6 or 7 years ago, and then 5 years ago, and 4 years ago?
Insurance he's hoping to look at.
Yeah, I said we need to get some big fireproof safe for
I mean, I know
historical
what-
items like that, we want to save for the future.
Well, with PD moving out, I mean, is there, a safe room or?
We could make one.
We'd have to purchase one probably.
It would probably be something that we could purchase.
Well, and just speaking to the insurance aspect, it's kind of difficult to insure a lot of historic items because they can't be replaced. You know, I mean.
Well, that's the thing, why would you insure them? That's why you need to protect them yourself, because
Right.
once they're gone, they're gone.
Right,
You're
exactly,
not gonna get,
yes.
and I don't think we need to pay a premium on something we're not gonna get back. We can get a few dollars for something, I mean, who cares?
Ownership.
Go buy a safe.
Ownership, possession, in this case, is your insurance.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the point, it's like, for safeguarding your assets physically.
Sure.
Right?
Now, Leila, you said the first 9 pages are library property,
Yep,
so the village would be assuming 10 to 23.
right. Yeah, and if need be, I can separate the, into.
Eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah, and then, so that kind of goes into the second request, is that currently all of the items are in the history room, which, you know, in many regards is all fine and good, but they're just there for anybody to come in and, you know, do whatever they want with, use it as a paperweight or spill their coffee on it or, you know, whatever. Not to say that there's all these reckless people going in and out of the library history room, but it's just the rarity and the value of the items that are in there should be a little bit more carefully guarded, so to speak.
So it needs to be in a semi-restricted area.
Right, right, and that's not to say that.
Basically some kind of permission, you actually get access into it.
Yeah, and I would still recommend that we do every effort that we can to make sure that items are shared with the community and promote the history and the village itself by like the history display out in the lobby or partnerships with businesses, whatever, you know, some people have asked over the years from time to time, well, should we just have a history museum? I mean, I really don't think so, because it's a huge expense that requires a lot of effort and skill and commitment and staff, and why, when you can do the same things for free. So the other request is, yeah, that we have these items and we do everything we can to protect them.
Well, I do have a motion for, you know, taking ownership of this.
I'll second that.
Motion second. You get that, Jody? Questions, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Well, now, consider we have ownership of it, we can, no, you can't have TV. But now we can put the restrictions on ourselves, because we are now the owners of it. And then I think, obviously, you have a third request on there, is to find some space?
Yeah, and that's, I mean,
now that we do have the ownership of it, and we do have some space coming up available that we haven't decided what to do with. I mean, right now, we just have to figure out how to move it out of Beth's area.
It can stay in that space as long until the PD moves out. We don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, it's been there for how long anyway, so right?
I have no idea how long it's been there. As long as I've been there, Lance.
as long as I've been playing
Right,
there.
yeah, it's always been there, yeah. 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 But this, what committee would this go to? Parks and Rec? I don't know, Paul, what committee would you put this to then?
What are other
Streets and buildings? I don't know.
What are other committees or communities?
Historic preservation.
We do have a historic preservation committee though, don't we?
That's me.
That's just you.
Well, I mean, there are others, I'm not the only one.
What are other communities doing?
Tourism.
I'd like some examples of some,
Right.
what other communities are doing.
You kinda wonder if they're even doing anything.
Well, mostly what you'll see is that it falls on the local library. There's usually a history room, or there's a historical society, until you get into a bigger community. And, you know, if it's helpful, if it helps in your thought process or determining what exactly to do and how to do it, I can reach out to our local, the liaison for local history through the Wisconsin State Historical Society and see if they can't provide some recommendations or guidelines. And there's also a listserv that I can send out an email and ask for other communities to chime in about what they have done.
And if we can keep it over in the library for now, and if we have to build something over in the library for secure, whatever.
She could lock the door.
Right.
Well,
Right, Beth?
part of the problem
Well,
is
but
the
the
room
library-
is used.
You can,
The-
no, you
the
can lock,
problem
you can
is-
lock the, you can't lock that?
We cannot lock the history room, and the problem is that history room, we have meetings in there, 3 or 4 usually, if not a day, we got at least a half a dozen to 8 in there every week.
What kind of meetings?
Usually it's people just maybe using it for a quiet workspace, or not typically anything that involves kids. It's always adults, and usually there's been a couple ladies from Western Wisconsin Health that have been using it. We have a book club that meets in there. So if we lock that room, we're really limiting the library's public space use for people to have meetings, of which we only have 2 rooms anyway that are both highly used.
We're talking two or
We
three.
could probably make another conference room, well, we can talk about that later on the streets and buildings.
Right, let's put it to that committee. I mean, we got 2 or 3 more months. Nothing's really majorly happened. I mean, nobody's started a fire in there. No one stole stuff out of there. I mean, cross your
Well,
fingers
so
for 2 more months.
I mean, so, I know you mentioned the safe, so we have to take stuff out of there to put in a safe?
I don't know that a safe is needed.
Is there currently even a safe?
I want to say for all the minutes from the 1800s, 1900s, but that's what I want a fireproof safe for all
I
the
mean,
minutes.
we want
from
these
the
items
beginning.
to be displayed, right?
Right, well, and protected when they're not displayed. You can't always display everything because we don't have that kind of space. But it would be nice if all of these items were in a space that, you know,
Because
was,
this building isn't sprinklered, so if it starts
Right.
a fire,
right.
We're hoping to God the best fire chief in St. Croix County will be in the fire department.
Well, I think it'd be really smart to start with getting that list of local communities and what they do.
Yeah.
To see, because there are communities that probably have more than us, that have rooms that are, you know, both temperature controlled,
Yeah.
you know, really for historical documents, that's what you want, kind of like the university,
Mhm.
but that is another sense. And it might have to be when an expansion happens, or a new library happens, or that's not
Yeah.
gonna be this year.
right?
But looking forward, I think is what we need to do.
Yeah.
So looking at what other communities our size are doing for their historical documents, and whether they have a room that is air controlled, temperature controlled, to make sure that they're safe, like universities do. River Falls is a really nice history room, if anyone ever wants to check it out, but, yeah.
Yeah, and it'd be a really great local, accessible place to turn to.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done well.
So when the police department moves,
Yep.
make sure you have should we put it at the streets and buildings? Probably would be our best bet. Buildings.
We don't even know what we're doing over there yet, so that's the big picture. Give us,
We'll open her up.
yeah. We'll talk about it.
Okay. Yeah, I guess when the police department officially moves, then streets and
Historic
buildings,
history
we
documents.
can start streets and buildings on what you decide you want to do with it. And everything else, so. Yeah.
It would especially be when you do your list, look onto your list or do your list for
Yeah.
communities that do not have a museum.
Right.
Because a lot of communities have a museum.
Mhm.
The Historical Society manages the assets, and the municipality owns them. But it'd be interesting to see if there's other communities that don't have a museum and how they handle that.
Mhm. Yep.
I'd like to ask you to see how often they're open, because it's gonna change if those things are over here now. They're gonna
Right.
be at the discretion of the hours of the village hall, which is 8 to 4:30 versus the hours of the library too. So that's
Sure.
gonna change a little bit.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that's okay. Yeah, I mean,
They just have to be posted, you know.
yeah.
History room is available 8 to 4:30, that's it.
And I would really recommend that it be by appointment.
Yeah,
Right.
make more sense.
That's pretty common.
Then
Mhm.
you and your committee can be contacted and say, someone wants to look at this.
Right.
If one of you want to be here.
Yep, yeah, yep.
And I just want to thank you, this is a lot of work.
Yep.
Thank you. Good job.
Okay,
Thanks.
yep, thank you.
Beth. H, review and approve hiring for the eligibility list of Ashley Furr, EMS paramedic full-time position at 2056.
So,
everything was good on the personnel committee?
yeah, Tom, well, what we did is email, Tom called me and, you know, asked me if we could just kind of take this to the board, email the committees. Actually, I emailed both the ambulance and the personnel committee. But the idea was that this, because it's already on the list, that we wouldn't really need to do an interview. And Tom basically asked if we could just take the next name off of the list and bring it for appointment. So because it's an internal hiring, and I ran it by both committees, I didn't get any comments about just bringing it here. So basically, he's recommended that Ashley be appointed at a rate of $20.56 an hour with overtime, I'll say yearly rate of $68,900. And she's got the same certification level as Tyler and Josh and the other full-time paramedics. So
I'll make a motion to approve Ashley for.
Motion second. Questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Number 8, planning commission, we didn't have a meeting. There was nothing on it.
just one little item for the planning commission, and that's to set a time for those community meetings for the comp plan. Now, so Jody D. emailed the planning commission, and so I don't know if you recall, Jody, the days you got from those that responded, the days of the week, or, I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Not off the top of my head.
Okay. We kind of had all over the map.
No, you asked me for Thursdays. I was Tuesdays, but I was, you said other people weren't.
Great, so Thursday was your second.
No. I didn't
Well,
have
anyway, the board really doesn't need to hear about this, because that's something that the planning commission needs to deal with, so. We're gonna have a comprehensive plan date sometime. How about that?
Yeah, I guess the hook here is that, okay, if we don't set a meeting, then we go to the November planning commission meeting, and then we set the dates. I mean, I guess that's still doable, especially if the first meeting is in November. We have that community meeting tentatively or scheduled for November, after the survey period ends, so what you're saying is let the planning commission decide.
Yeah, let the planning commission decide. We'll set the dates out, and if the village board members wanna come, they can come. If they don't want to, they don't have to. I think this is more community-based, more than the village board. I mean, we're 7 people making the decision, let the community come in. Let us hear what the community says, and then make a decision on that. So she was really pushing like, no, you 7 need to make a decision. I'm like, no, let's have the community come in. Why are we making that decision on the comp plan? Let these people come in there, make their, recommendations or what they want, and then we'll figure it out from there.
I would just say one thing is, it's important for the plan commission members and the board members to be involved in the meetings. And to know what's being drafted in all those chapters. Otherwise you get in a situation like I'm dealing with now, that the plan was done, and the plan commission basically wants to go through all the chapters and re-end. And the board may do the same thing. And that's not how an efficient process works.
So there you go. If you don't want to show up to the meetings, then please read the information that you were given on your iPads before the meeting then on this. So it's kind of a big deal. So.
You would ask me if Wednesday or Thursday would be preferable, and I was.
Yeah, it will definitely have to be a standalone day, standalone time. Probably the last 2 weeks of the month, maybe we have more availability. Maybe a Wednesday or Thursday, but yeah, we'll see what commissioners do.
What's the time frame of the survey period? You mentioned it.
It's gonna take a whole year.
Oh, the survey period, no, it's mostly, I believe, October. I don't know, I can't remember, I don't know what the exact
We
deadline
want to
is.
have 11 meetings.
there's 7 public meetings actually.
Seven.
There's 7.
They're down to 7 public meetings now.
Yep.
Instead of 11.
Yep. So we've already had 1 of them.
Did I miss
So
it?
that's beyond the 7. So, yeah. Maybe that was- okay.
Okay, B, Public Safety and Personnel Committee. 1, September 23rd, 2025, Public Safety and Personnel Committee minutes. Who wants to take Public Safety? Huh?
That's okay. We met to interview,
Yeah, we'll say the 23rd.
for the AP assistant position to Kim. And we had 1 applicant that we interviewed, Miss Mary Huseby. And we, as a committee, chose to send a recommendation for the hiring of Mary Huseby for the AP assistant position in helping Kim, that we indeed hire Mary Huseby at an hourly rate of $21. She's fantastic.
We all love Mary. Great lady.
So I would move to approve Mary Huseby as our AP assistant for the Village of Baldwin.
Second. Motion second. Questions, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Anything else that you haven't?
No.
That was the only thing, was it?
No.
Anything else you got to say, add to this, or no? Streets and Buildings Committee, October 1st. Draft is Infrastructure Management Improvement Plan. Who wants to take that one? We'll jump at it at once.
I don't know. There's
Lost
nothing-
it, or was?
There's nothing really to approve.
Okay.
SEH,
Just give an update on it.
just there's a draft in your packet here, 8C2. Coming up with different proposals for street projects, and they're kind of listed in order of top priority. So project 1, project 2, well, project 1 is right now, or next year's project, sorry.
This is what you told the planning commission that you were gonna, this was the infrastructure plan.
Yeah.
We were getting a comprehensive infrastructure, I was getting a little confused, you're like, no, that's separate.
Yeah.
So
The planning commission.
page 5 shows kind of some of those costs, so we're making the board aware of what those costs. And then if we have to get Sean involved in looking at a long-term, or Ellers involved.
Now we're gonna pay for it.
I don't have I don't see it. Oh, way down. Oh, like 5, not page 5, but
Oh, you just got
It's page 11
11.
of 48.
You just said way down, and now you're making me go back up.
I didn't know you were taking, I'm sorry, yours
Alright.
is faster.
And if we don't do these, I guess.
Oh, this is the cost of projects.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought, okay.
Or you just went by it.
Can I go by it?
Slow down. Page 11. You're at 12. Right? No, right there. Here you go.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, so this is just a preliminary list that we put together. We did detailed cost estimates. Graham and I have talked about some adjustments to it. So we're calling this an infrastructure improvement plan. It's really listing out street and utility reconstruction projects to help inform a capital improvement plan, which you then will lay out different years of when you want to do projects. You know, do you want to put snow plows on there, other things? I mean, this is just the streets, but a capital improvement plan would include other departments and things. And so what we're gonna do now is put years to this, maybe combine some projects. Maybe thought start with 2028, doesn't commit to anything. Let's just try to lay it out and plan for the future rather than plan for next year, like we've been doing for the past 10 years.
We're gonna talk about capital.
Long time. I'm assuming all these projects here, 1 through 14, that's not inflation.
No,
That's
today's-
current today's pricing.
Current pricing, yeah. So those, every year we'll have to, you know, take another closer look at it. And obviously, the end cost is what contractor bids are, you know, down to that level. So this will be refined.
And this is this is working with Graham too, like Graham's list of, I think Traxler had a list of like, we need to look at these more than these because they're falling apart worse.
Yeah.
That's kind of a list.
I mean, they're kind of in what we feel order of importance, but that's not to be said that it can't flip-flop a little bit depending on other things going on with other projects, 63, to make it all jive financially, timing-wise, all that, but it's kind of the starting point of where the previous director and previous directors kind of had for infrastructure below the ground, a lot of it driven by that, obviously.
Right.
Potentially dumb question. US Highway 63 projects fall on Baldwin?
So it's, the utilities underneath the
Oh.
highway need to be replaced.
Okay, got it.
And so you'd like to time that with a Highway
It's
63
not the road,
project.
it's
But that's a long ways out before they reconstruct it. They're gonna, you know, overlay it in 31, we think. That's current schedule. So if they can't wait till it's reconstructed, which is probably a ways out, you want to at least do it before they do their.
So that's not road expense, that's under road.
Yeah,
So
but
then
unfortunately,
we have to
you have to put the road
Right,
back.
right.
Yeah, so there's 7 inches of asphalt cost in that estimate.
I think this brings up the importance of bringing back that conversation about the capital plan and getting, like, you guys are just starting to put together some thinking aspects within your committee. But if you've caught the news on some of these cities over in Minnesota where, I think it's Crystal, that their property taxes are increasing 35% and their cities are looking at bankruptcy and insolvency because of things similar to this, with really good things for their communities. They made really good investments, but between inflation costs, inflation wages, and taking on maybe biting off more than they could chew in a not real strategic way, got themselves in a whole boatload of trouble. And so they're looking at double-digit property rate increases several years in a row that have residents crying foul, and they're pretty upset, right? So what they don't see is that the roads are all fixed, and maybe they have nice parks and things of this nature. They don't care when their property taxes go up 30 and 40% year after year. And when we look at the price tag of some of these things, and it's necessary stuff, if we don't have a strategic plan around what we're doing, we're gonna get in a whole boatload of trouble with our residents. So I think we need, I love this whole thing of putting together a forward-looking plan so that we can start to talk about, because we're taking on more debt in the village than we've ever taken on before. And that's not a bad thing. It can be a very good thing if you're strategic about it. It can also ruin us. So I feel like we need to get the capital plan for the town back on track.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that falls into, like, you started with committees, or if you started with, maybe you started at the budget, with the budget team, and then they start putting out asks and then formulating things together. But I just feel like we need to do something.
This is like the first step in the capital improvement plan, and obviously the biggest part of it. But I guess what we've talked about is once this gets a little further along, then we're going to start working on the CIP. So we've talked about this, and so I mean, this now is the next step in this process will be these 14 projects listed here, grant and Eric are gonna go through those in more detail. They're gonna, rank them, these may kind of be what the rankings are, and combine some of these items would be done in 1 year, because you have some items that are 400,000, 300,000. You have 14 things listed, but I think the idea is maybe that's 10 years, but that could be 10 years where there's a break here between each one of them. I've been involved with a street plan that kind of rolled that way, and I've been involved with one where it was all done in 10 consecutive years. But the next step, once that's done, then Ellers will take this and they will come up with a plan of how we're going to pay for it. They'll project out and say, this is how they'll, recommend we'll pay for it, and they'll show where the funds are going to come from, what the impacts are going to be, and then you can really prioritize how long it's going to take to do this.
I think that streets is very important, but it's also very costly. I guess my point is that if we're paying dollars to do this, it would be really wise if we did it with a comprehensive approach, looking at equipment and also some of the other plans that were long-term plans that we're drawing up for our community. So we can get a really good comprehensive capital plan to go with it.
That's what we were at before, because we were getting hit in the same year with multiple big things.
Yeah.
When you buy a grader this year, we still gotta buy a squad car, and you gotta do the work. You can't keep hitting them all in the same year.
Right.
And that's why you need to be able to look at it as a whole picture, so you can weigh things in and out. So I think, I like this to start, but you're right, we have to also have all the other departments, big capital type stuff, get fed into this as well.
Right. Yeah, it's exciting. I really like it.
Exciting and scary all at the same time.
Amen.
We're on a fine
Amen.
line.
It's exciting and scary. So the total on that is about 16 million. And if you do it in 10, there's a big difference between doing that in 10 years and doing it in 20 years, right? And we're just curious back here, Graham and Eric, how much, is that all streets or is some of that sewer and water? Because is it going into property taxes and water rates and sewer rates?
I'd say 90% of it also includes sewer and water.
So that means that's affecting a lot.
Don't worry, Kim, I'll give you a heart attack tomorrow when I say, well, next month, we're gonna do all $16 million next year. You'll vapor lock, I'm sure of that.
That was the biggest thing in our committee, so.
No, that's actually, that's a lot of stuff going on there, man.
Good.
Anything else? Matt, Austin on that? Nope.
No.
No, keep going on it,
Early workings of it.
and we'll meet you up with our comprehensive plan. So. Eric?
Yeah, this infrastructure plan, we've done that too, and this last thing I'll know, we mentioned the committee too, that, that the plan helps us plan for different years and find funding. It also allows us to apply for funding and look ahead. Even the Safe Drinking Water, Clean Water Fund, really you should be applying 2 years in advance for that. And because of our kind of short-sightedness on planning, at least, we're not able to take advantage of some of the programs that are out there. So, both grants and low interest financing is stuff that because it costs so much, I think we have to look at what options are out there.
You guys got a grant writer again? Or you guys not?
Yeah,
I remember when we first hired you guys, but yeah, we got this grant writer, and then I think you left a month later or something, and then it took you a while to.
David Carlson, he left,
Pretty quick, but
yeah,
we need to try to take advantage of this now. I get that we're St. Croix County, and that kind of upsets me. It seems like, well, you guys have money over there.
Yeah.
Which is all that direction.
So the CDBG money that you applied for NAGPAP, that's low income driven programs, but there's the low interest loan programs, there's the LRIP, which I'll talk about in a second too. So there's things out there, and we do have a team of grant funding staff, and what I can do even at the end of this plan, and I'm sure Sean has similar capabilities too, of just run it by staff and say, hey, this is the types of projects, you know, where do they fit in funding, you know, different avenues, so, yeah.
Well noted.
The other thing I'll note is, so funding source is local road improvement plan, LRIP, so it's a biannual cycle that we submit every odd year. And in 2021 and 2023, we submitted for 9th Avenue project that's supposed to be completed to the local program, which is kind of a smaller county program, a smaller pot of money. And so we've got about $50,000 sitting there that once the project's done, I'll get some information from Mitch and Mark can submit that for reimbursement. So that's good. This is a similar year, so 25, and what we're going to do, what we've decided is to submit the local one that's about $25,000 an average that you get, and submit cedar, stormwater, and sidewalk improvements from Nielsen's. And these are good for 5 years, so it's not a rush to do them. You can actually transfer them to different projects as well if we decide that something's more important than cedar and do that sooner. So we're going to do that, and then there's also a bigger pot of money that we actually applied for 9th Avenue for in 2023 as well, that you can get, well, the last cycle you could get like up to 75% of the eligible costs, which are street costs, it's not water and sewer. And we thought that we would submit this next year's project that Aries is doing, submit that, it's worth a shot. And we haven't been awarded it, put in an application and see what we get.
When do you find out about that?
Find out,
Next
so
spring.
it has to go in locally by November 15th. And like locally it gets reviewed and goes into the DOT January 15th to find out like in April. Is usually the cycle. We get awarded it.
Kim needs good news.
Yeah, we'll do what we can.
She needs some good news.
Yeah.
Those are hard to get.
Those are hard to get.
Are they hard to get?
So it's, you know, it's statewide, and there's only so much money. And so it is difficult, there's but somebody's getting it.
The town of Richmond got that award for the current Third Street project.
Your Richmond
It's
did?
going on town of Richmond,
What town?
so they got a 70% grant on that. But
Yeah, town ended, we got a 70% grant for the $1 million project, $1 million street project a couple years ago. So,
they're hard to get.
yeah.
When he's on a township board, it's probably a little easier, doesn't it? Just kidding. Is that all you got?
Yeah.
Okay. Mitch?
Yeah, I guess Graham's gonna give a more in-depth overview of progress on the project, but I would say overall in the last few weeks, we've seen some good progress. All the underground is in, and they've got a lot of the road built.
Ever since I got quoted in the paper for saying the project was going in reverse, and then the owner of Albright's and Excavating found me.
Well, whether or not that
We had a very
was,
good conversation.
yeah. They submitted a new estimated timeline of completion for the 31st, I think, to be all said and done, so
It's like we will review that at the end of the month or in November, I guess.
that is the plan. Otherwise-
Hold on, Graham. Yes.
When would residents find out how much they're going to be responsible for?
Well, Eric, take that one.
So,
Or Mitch or whatever.
Yeah, either way. We'll be putting together the final resolution and everything. Once all the hard surface is done, we get a shot up for quantities. Then the final assessment hearing will be had for final quantities on everything. But all the work needs to be completed to collect
Like for the
quantities.
future projects?
Oh, yes.
We were talking about this one.
yeah, no, that's a good example though. So, like the project that's just being finished this year was probably in sometime early spring or late winter that you have the original assessment roll. or
That'll be
estimates.
the preliminary hearing. That'll most likely be right before bid time, sometime in March, I would guess.
January is about the time we
So-
make the decision of what street project we want to do.
Yeah, so
Then
there's,
then that'll be about the time when the residents would start being notified that they will be assessed something.
Correct. The letters
So,
go.
And then, obviously, bids go out February, March, opening in March usually, right?
Yeah.
Correct?
We're attempting
Roughly.
earlier this year for February.
Yep.
Is there a certain percentage that residents are typically responsible for, or is it just?
what's a typical size of an assessment?
Well, there's different splits for, you guys do 50-50 split on your concrete aprons, and then 100% on the sanitary. So.
I'd say a lot of them this year are right around that 3,000.
Oh, yeah, I don't have numbers on the top of my head, I guess. I'd have to pull up
I'd say
the.
that's pretty typical.
On the sanitary, but not their laterals,
I'm just,
right?
It's the connection and the
Yeah.
lateral to the right of way,
Okay.
not the main itself.
Right.
you
And
get
then-
some bigger parcels that have bigger driveways and stuff, and some of them have been 5,000 to 6,000 assessments. Some of them are tiny where they're only 800. It's really different by every.
Is it just the driveway, or is it how much street front you have?
We haven't decided to do curb and gutter yet.
But there's-
Looks like other places have.
You
It's
guys-
just the driveway, isn't it?
Your guys' last 3 projects have been the concrete apron at 50%, and then 100% on the sewer lateral and the connection to the main.
And sidewalks?
No sidewalk.
We
If they reinstall catwalks between the sidewalk and the curb, then it's 100% assessment on the homeowner.
We're not trying to be anti-sidewalk, but we kind of are. Paths.
Everybody
Bike
wants
paths.
it until they get paid.
Well, I
Honestly,
know,
well,
or
no,
maintain
you
them, or then they have to maintain it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Is
We
your,
don't know
if
when
one of your, if one of your
exactly.
or where do you live is out there?
Mine's number 1.
Number one?
Oh,
So
that's next year.
That will be next year.
Yeah,
So you will, yeah, we are doing that one, that is,
and my house has the most, front, yeah. My house has the most, frontage, I guess you can say, on the cul-de-sac, so, I'm a little scared.
oh, on
Is
Meadow,
there
you're on
no
Meadow,
circle
you're on
on that?
Meadowview? Or is it Meadow Cover,
Meadow.
what is it?
And there's no sidewalk.
No sidewalk.
There's
Or
no
I know-
sidewalk, but if it's curb and gutter, my house has the most.
Just
Oh, so
your driveway.
there's no curb and gutter
Yeah,
assessment.
your driveway.
And no sidewalk, but there's no sidewalk on that
Yeah.
portion.
Yeah,
And we're not doing aprons on that.
and we're probably not doing aprons, more likely in the cul-de-sac.
Because there's no sidewalk.
There's no sidewalk.
No.
Cause there's the, I don't know about this stuff, there's the concrete
Curb and gutter.
trim.
Border.
Yeah, the gutter,
Border.
where the water runs, you won't,
Yeah.
yeah, you'll be fine.
Okay,
I say that now and I'm gonna eat crow here another year.
I will come back.
Well, we
Yes.
decided to do
Yeah.
No.
She's gonna go back and
No,
find
but
that quote in the newspaper.
you don't have sidewalks to your property, there's no reason to have a concrete apron. Not on a cul-de-sac.
On that chunk, we're doing surface and then storm sewer to try to alleviate.
The
Issues
all
with
water
water.
over there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Likely no assessment.
Okay.
Graham?
Yeah. I'm just gonna pony off what Mitch said about the 9th Avenue Street project. All the water and sewer services have been installed, temporary water is disconnected. This week they got the storm sewer installation, all that is complete. And actually as of today, the road base is all prepped. Just as of this afternoon. So they got curb and gutter, that'll be the week of the 20th, it sounds like. They have a lot of sidewalk to prep and the driveways and whatnot. And then once that's complete, they'll do curb and gutter, blacktop, and then complete the black dirt and all that the final stuff, I guess. Cody and Rich have been flushing dead end sewer mains, which is what we do kind of every year, and the dead end ones just keep the sewage flowing. We just flush them with water, add some volume there to get everything flowing like shit, so they don't have issues with plugging up. The hockey building, hailstorm was repaired, the roof's been completely done. They did the Bailey Park roof for the gazebo there. The well house has a new roof on it, the Newton Street well from that hail damage, and now they got the food pantry left. And it sounds like next week sometime when they're not open, they're gonna try to knock that one out. So that's the roof, and then the siding in the back got hit by the hail. Repair the stuff just the stuff that needs to be fixed in the back and on the west side of the building. Tomorrow they're gonna finally fix the pickleball tennis court fence. They've been super busy, so they haven't been able to get here, but they will be doing that too. Hydro flushing, we're done with that now. On here I say it's near completion, but we're done. We did some maintenance repair of the hydrants like we always do, and we're still exercising water gate valves, the mainline gate valves. I don't know if you guys have seen them out. Zach's been straight patching potholes, crack filling, all that fun stuff throughout the town. Trevor and Zach repaired the landscape at Dollar General where we put that hydrant in order to do that. Just the landscape rock got messed up, so we put new edging in and put the landscape rock back in there. I'm sure you've seen Rich out sweeping all the time because of all the construction and spray patching, and all leaves are going down, so he's been steady at that. Rich aerated the parks and green space areas, which we do every year, try to help keep the grass healthy. We hauled some gravel and other rock material for water leaks, anything like that. Trevor just finished up this week with his mowing of the ditches and the pond areas. Active tree service, we had to cut down so far about 10 dead ash trees, boulevard trees, a couple in Windmill Park that were dead. We ground the stumps, so now we gotta fill those in with black dirt. Up in Mill Pond Park, we used to have kind of in the middle where the flag is, we had a area that used to have landscape around it. We took that out last year because it was all rotten and kind of a mess. Kids kept messing with it, so we put gravel in there, and we had Pac-Man concrete actually just poured that, filled it in with concrete so that people don't have to, we can drive through there and all that fun stuff. The crosswalk beacon at Franklin Street by Quick Trip there finally got put back up after we got the parts. Seems to be working well. And this week we finished those water meter pits we had talked about quite a while ago. Albrightson was able to put those in now that they were done with the street project. They got those, we got them all completed this week, so they're all in. Any questions?
When's that bill coming in?
By tomorrow. Sure.
That's more than Kim about it.
No,
Yeah, I mean, another 50,000.
should be less than that.
48.
Brad is always sending these big bills my way. You gotta tell him to stop.
That's what happens to your treasurer. Say, did we get, remember we talked about some of them sidewalk panels out at Mill Pond at the
Yep.
ball field, did those get?
We haven't done anything with them, no. We can. Yeah.
Kind of, well, probably can wait a year, but I
Yep.
kind of wanted that done for this past spring, but.
Yep. No, we haven't done anything with that yet. Just 'cause it gets so busy. Now that everything's done, we can do it quick before the weather turns, but just gets so busy, it's hard to find a time where you're not disrupting all the sports and whatnot.
All right. That's all I got. Anything else? Kevin?
All right. I had an issue collecting the numbers with their system, so I didn't put them on the report, but they're fairly standard, maybe a little bit higher this last month. Training, so invested in our officers, crisis intervention training geared towards dealing out on the street with mental health. I think that's important for us. We're seeing that more and more nowadays. Also, multidisciplinary training with Child Protective Services. Officer Strasser and I attended that, and it's a county, or you could say statewide program, trying to collaborate resources together so we can come up with a more efficient system across healthcare, through CPS and law enforcement together. Some equipment updates, squad computers. We purchased a couple squad computers to stay up to date, and so far those are going well for us. Our firearms, we upgraded firearms, handguns, and we included the red dot system, which should assist our officers many different levels and ways. The building project, I think You can see with everybody with our staff that they broke ground not too long ago, and there's energy, they're excited for it. It's kind of an increase in our bump in morale. A lot of questions coming my way, asking this or that about it, showing diagrams, sketches, everything else. But they're pretty stoked for it. Officer wellness, we kicked off a wellness program, and we're working with Higgs Solutions on that. Our officers will have a wellness visit at least annually to start off the program, and then we can adjust it from there and see what's fitting, collect feedback. Met with the commission, was that a couple weeks ago. We kind of established quite a bit there. We got our commission bylaws incorporated. The purpose of that, again, is just efficiency, protocol, and a standard process for dealing with matters that the commission oversees. So I think that'll be beneficial when it comes to hiring processes, promotions, and so forth, so we can stick to a plan. Other than that, we kind of discussed a promotion process and amendments to the job description for the sergeant. And you'll probably see that coming forward at some point, probably very soon. And what was the other thing I was going to talk about on that? Well, I'll leave that for next month, but any questions? Thank you.
John, are you Tom Boyer?
No way.
Oh, you're not. Did Tom leave you a report, or?
Yeah, it's in our packet.
Tom is down at the conference in Madison
Yeah.
for the Professional Ambulance Association down there, and one of the conferences he's going on is, which he'll probably talk next year, is actually about carrying blood in EMS. It's a very big thing right now, so he wanted to get that done, so that's why he's not here.
He's always got an excuse.
Well, it says right here, John to present in my absence, though.
Wow.
I know.
Well, John, get up. No.
Yep.
You'll do good.
You'll be good. So you guys got your report on that, why don't I have this report? Oh, I have to scroll down more? Oh, there it is.
Didn't you just go through this?
Whatever. So hold on a second though, the village board members probably don't know this, but John does. So on October 14th, correct, John?
Yeah.
So I got a phone call from Assemblyman Krybek here about 2-3 weeks ago. And the Assembly is now doing a new thing. They are honoring a first responder in every district, all 99 districts, and invite them down to Madison and going to honor them on the Capitol grounds or at the Capitol. So Rob called me. I talked with Matt. I didn't really talk with Kevin, but Courtney Smith's name came up a little bit, and John, maybe you can kind of say what, Courtney will have one hell of a couple months.
Courtney's seen a lot of crap. So this way, I'm going to put it straightforwardly out there. July, she was lead on I'll put it this way, horrific suicide on there. She had the cardiac save that she was honored for, and just her stepping into this role as a supervisor, she's like hit the ground running. I mean, there's already improvements that we're already seeing because how all us supervisors work together. And it was actually an honor that we, not only as Baldwin EMS, but her now as a supervisor of Baldwin EMS is getting recognized by the state. Lots of times the state has always been, unless you're in the state of Milwaukee or the state of Madison, you don't tend to get recognized for it. But they don't realize it here. And we even have people that, as more and more as we, now with the station and everything as we're growing as her, as people are hearing like what she's doing, what we're seeing as calls, and there's more people saying, I don't even see that in a city where it's in a big county. So what she's been doing has been absolutely amazing on there. And internally, we even discussed it, like, if we had to nominate a person, and then that's, Courtney's name has actually come up on there many times. So we are extremely happy that she's getting the award. She said, hey, could you, as a matter of fact, next week, she's like, hey, can you cover coming in early, because she actually gets off that Tuesday morning to make it in Madison, like, what time do you need me in? So we're all in support of it, so we're extremely happy that someone's getting honored, and it being Courtney for being what she's seen.
It is in town, so. So, yeah, that's kind of a cool thing, I thought, so. Everyone wants to go down on October 14th. I'm thinking what kind of work to get that. Kind of fun to go down there.
I think this will be streamed.
Hmm?
Will this be a streamed event on mobile day?
I don't know if this will be a stream, I don't think this is a streamed event. This is
No,
like
I don't, there's usually press, they don't
Yeah.
usually stream a lot of
Yeah.
these things when they do the, kind of the group awards, that kind of thing like that on there, but, I definitely know it's gonna be put online, and once it's all done, like pictures and stuff.
If you do wanna know, if you do wanna go or whatever, get a hold of me, cause Rob will, he'll kind of need to know that you're going to get you in the Capitol.
So, do the Brewers play that
Yes, well.
Depends if they win tonight.
They need to, don't they need to win some games anyway, so.
I don't know what next week's.
Thanks, John. Yeah.
All right, so we had the Star Lab at the end of September. In case you've never seen the Star Lab is this huge inflatable dome this guy brings out. And then the kids get to crawl inside, and he points out constellations and fun things. Talks about the different moon phases. He talks about the distance from the Earth to the moon and fun things like that. We had 3 sessions. We partnered with Cameron, Woodville, and Glenwood City on this. We had 115 participants come because there is a limit as to how big how many we can put in at a time. And we had a wait list. So our story times have kicked off. So we have our regular story time, we have our lap sit, we have music and movement on Fridays, we do family story times on the second Thursday, which is kind of a combination of our Tuesday and Friday events. Our family art, our family night series have started. So last night we had family art, we have family game night, doing some fun things like that. We've been reading nonfiction in October because late last week, we had a couple hundred new juvenile nonfiction books show up at the library. So we're frantically weeding our juvenile nonfiction section so we can put them in. I don't always know when some of these orders come because they come from bigger vendors. So we have also weeded and inventoried all of our picture books, our holiday books. So if you're looking for a Halloween book, you don't have to dig through as many. They're easier to page through now. And we also went through all of our adult books. In addition to our new juvenile nonfiction books, we also ended up with 18 new playaways. So instead of having our audiobooks on CDs, which most of you probably don't even own a CD player anymore, if you're buying a new vehicle, they are not coming with CD players. So we're switching all of our audio, especially our kids, over to juvenile playaways. Contained in this nice little brick. It takes a AA battery and our headphones. And so we're having fun with kind of those things. We did receive the best library from the newspaper voting again. So we're very proud of that. And then I did just find out yesterday our major book supplier for our adult nonfiction, our fiction, is going out of business as of January 1. So I'm looking and exploring some other avenues for that. So kind of caught the library world by surprise. So it was a huge discussion point yesterday. Kim was asking me this week, last week, how many books we have or materials we have in the library. So I thought this would be a fun number. We have 31,000 materials in the library. That includes all of our magazine subscriptions, videos, audio CDs, and obviously books. So,
Kim, are you crunching numbers on the books? We're gonna start selling books.
And then if the quarter 3 numbers are out for you all to peruse, I'm not going to go through them all. But I can tell you your new items for quarter 4 will probably be even more than the normal 500. I'm done evaluating the collection as we've been reading it. The staff and I have been evaluating it, and now we're ready to start plugging and beefing up spots that haven't been beefed up over the past few years. So, any questions?
Leo was happy that you fixed the.
Did Lance return his book?
So, Lance,
Michelle did come in and get that book.
Michelle came, she got the book, she brought it back the same day because we had to fix the book because there was a problem with it.
Didn't work.
It turned out to be a charging issue, so if your head librarian doesn't keep trying to play with it as it's charging, it charges better. Imagine that. So I actually took it home for the weekend and plugged it in and charged it, and my husband sat down that night, on Saturday night, and he's like, well, it works fine. It's only because of you. So they did get it, and they did. As far as I know, your son enjoyed
Oh,
it.
I love it. You know
And I know it has at least 4 other holds on it, so it's going to be hugely popular. So, and yes, it was, Lance did not return it, but Lance's wife took very good care of it.
And she had to check it out because they don't have a library card.
We should fix that problem, Lance.
I think we should even second.
You made him very happy, Beth.
I am glad I could make him happy. So this is the plug. I have new dinosaur ones also that just came in. So.
All right. I'll be laid off soon. I'll be coming in there with
Picture boxes for you.
I know, right? Thanks, Beth. Mark?
So just a couple things. The latest with the downtown wayfinding signs, the Streets and Building Committee met and talked about locations of where those signs could go, and before they met, or up to the time they met, we were working under the auspices that the DOT had to put the signs up. So the committee talked about this and kind of pivoted back to let's, as a village, get our own kind of custom sign with the logo on it, kind of just put it up. So that's where I'm at now, is getting information on that, or working with TAPCO specifically, which is a sign company, Grant, and then working with Graham. Well, also we're going to look at some other, maybe other signs that show where parks are and things like that. So that would all be the same kind of design. There's still kind of a difficulty trying to figure out where to put that sign northbound on 63 before you hit Main Street.
I believe that.
But we haven't solved that yet. But the WEDC grant is being finalized. I got an email today that the final committee review is, I believe, tomorrow on that. I think it's a foregone kind of conclusion. It's going to get approved for the Masonic building. The village newsletter went out thanks to Jody D a couple weeks ago. I also put the chamber update again in the packet. And last thing is the PD labor contract renewal for 26 through, we'll say 28. That hasn't been finalized, the term yet. None of it has, but just say, 3 years. We meet tomorrow night, personnel, public safety and personnel meets tomorrow night to start working on that. So that's all I have.
A couple of questions for Mark. I know we approved this how many months ago, and I hate to see these projects. I know I'm not staff, but I'm a board member and I'm a little concerned. Austin's having issues, Christina's having issues, Dropbox is garbage. Where are we at with this program we bought? I'm really frustrated that we have not implemented this yet. I mean, we need a better handle on maybe some timelines when we're gonna get this implemented to us.
So we have, tomorrow is kind of our final training with Civic Plus. We're gonna do a test run with this. In other words, Jody and I are gonna take this agenda and packet, and we're gonna load it up. And the plan was to have this going for November. So with different schedules of Jody and the trainer, unfortunately, yeah, I can't say they just took longer than it should have. I agree. But
and I don't want it to be held up now with a new if
They
the
won't have
sign-
anything to do with it.
Okay, well, I mean, it just kinda, you know, I don't know if our drop boxes go to our personal accounts and they're getting filled up and, I mean, she can't even get her packet here, it kinda sucks.
Okay.
You have to delete literally everything.
And we shouldn't have to do that either, there should be, you know,
Oh.
sometimes I like going back and referring to packets and I don't like deleting stuff.
Right.
So, and we as a board, we approve these things and we're spending money on these things.
The thing is, you can go back to them during a meeting
Right.
and actually look back at it. It's kind of nice to do that.
Right. And if there's things we can add comments on too, but I just, as a board member, I'm just,
We're ready for
you
it.
know, so.
Better get on that, because I wouldn't want them banging on my door.
Mark, how often are you looking to have a village newsletter?
Well, this year we did 2 of them. I would say the most would be quarterly, 2 to 4 times a year. The next one, you know, we could look at doing one after, you know, the first of the year. This one was held up a little bit because we wanted to get the information for the comp plan in there. And I know that held the library if I did it, so. The next one.
There's a couple of glaring issues that I kind of feel like if we're gonna send it late and information isn't relevant or valid anymore, it shouldn't be sent.
Okay.
There's not going to be a winter farmer's market this year.
Okay.
And the library one is, I mean, the library, survey that was sent out is done, right? So it really doesn't make sense to send this out in October and only have a week for it. But I get it, I do, just thinking that we shouldn't be sending something out that has bad information on it. Well, dated or bad, it looks bad on us.
Yep, absolutely.
So.
Anything else for Mark? Okay, let's take a break before we go to closed session.
I would expect, like, because there needs to be a preliminary assessment.
I don't know if it was recorded, I saw the.
I saw it.
There's
Yeah, I looked right at it.
These Lakers are going.
Estimated number. Coming up with a estimate.
See that?
And then
Back to the future.